All right, good afternoon, YouTube. It's man, always Dress Page, aka the Emperor of Female Bodybuilding Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Right here at my partner, the hand of the Emperor, Jen.
Yo, yo.
All right. And last week was the second show for women's bodybuilding for the season. It was the Indiana Pro. And the Indiana Pro was a good show. I watched it. The best thing about this, the thing only cost me $10. So because and
Yeah.
that was reasonable. And my partner, did you watch it?
Yes, I did actually.
Yeah, it was. I missed the prejudging, but I did see the finals. There's also stuff in between. But I was most of it was focused on the women. Now
Yeah.
at this show, this was Indiana Pro's the first debut of women's bodybuilding. It was and shout outs to Dave Brower to his company. Also shout out to Rim the Rim Muscle Training Company that also sponsors the show and many other sponsors. You gave a place for women bodybuilding to be because there's so few shows as compared to the other divisions such as physique, bikini, and all the others. They have more shows. That's why most time when they have competitions, they have a lot more competitors. So this was a pretty decent show. I enjoyed watching it. I usually don't do these reviews too much, but I try to work within my budget. So, but it was a great show. So, what's your thoughts on it, Jen?
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty good show. Not the most amount of competitors, but a healthy amount. Especially better than last time where there was just one. So yeah, there's that. Um, I watched the prejudging as well. Um, I kind of had an idea of who was going to be where, um, to a certain extent by the prejudging. Um, Even though they didn't move any of the competitors, because you know how they do like the little comparison round, and they start moving competitors around. They didn't do that this time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they speculated that maybe they didn't want to give us any ideas of who's where.
hmm Yeah, because usually like, they just take certain girls, like they put some on one end, put the other. As long as you stay in the middle, most of the time it tells you this is where I often hear from some of the ladies that as long as they keep you in the middle, you're guaranteed that you're probably going to win. And from the look of the lineup, it was just like five ladies, five very impressive ladies who came in, pretty good the conditions. Some might have been a little off, some had some issues. I know I've been talking with some ladies on social media how they're saying that some of these ladies should have maybe had a little more time to prep for the show. There was one lady
Yeah.
who I'm acquainted with, one Miss Jada Beverly. She didn't come in the best condition for the show because something happened. She had a little slip up during her prep, and she got sick, and that really affected how she looked. She usually comes in great condition because the last couple of shows she competed was the last year with the Tampa Bay Pro and Savannah. She looked amazing. I'm a big fan of Jada. She's been on my live stream. We talk on the phone. We talk on IG, and she's the one with her company that she's working under. They pretty much set everything up, you know, and they gave women in bodybuilding a stage that so few had. So and it was like I say, it was a pretty good show. I'm hoping, like I said, I'm planning on going to a show this September. That is Savannah. I talked about this before because it's a lot closer. Wait a minute. You talk while you go on mute.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so during the prejudging round, when they were doing the comparisons, I noticed that uh, Teresa, they kept her in the middle. Um, I believe it was her next to Stephanie Fletcher and Lisa Hudry and Donna. Um, Donna and Jada were both on the side, so that kind of um, fits in with where the scoring was for the most part. So maybe that was why.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yes.
I predicted. I could maybe go over where it was, my predictions was of who was going to place where, even before the competition. And it was basically like I actually got the mathematics of how I did it.
Mm-hmm.
So I took all the placings that every single competitor took as taken at every single IFBB Pro show they've done, and then I divided that by the number of competitors at each show, and then I get the percentage. So for Stephanie Fletcher, it was 8 by 40, which is 20%. She had the best scoring of any of them. Lisa, 6 by 21, 29%. Second best. Teresa, 47 by 110, 43%. However, I clarify as well in this, she's got 2 pro wins, and she's been at the Miss Olympia. I think Stephanie Fletcher also qualified for the Olympia. And then you got Jada, 21 by 38, 55%. Then you got Donna, 72 by 127, 56%. And that's a pretty good summary of where they were going to be in terms of scoring wise.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I had except I had Teresa first. It was either Fletcher or Lisa, and then after that, Donna and Jada.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I said, as you know, they from my thing was I was thinking, I feel like Teresa's going to take it, and my thought was going to be like Stephanie, Donna, then Jada and Lisa. But like I said, I'm a fan of Miss Beverly, and I think my prejudice got in the way a bit of it. She looked pretty good, but like I said again, she had gotten sidetracked with some illness, and that really kind of took a shot out of her. She has a great physique, great line. She's very lean, but she didn't come in as like she her conditioning was just off. And one thing
Yeah,
about Jada, she just needs a little more size. That's the thing is, if she had just a little bit more size, that could probably make the difference, in
yeah,
how she look, how she prepare. But like I said, she always has a great, she always come in great condition. It's just this time it was just a little off, and I was kind of you know brokenhearted about it. But you know what, she is a great lady, and she took on the chin like a champ. So
yeah.
we maybe we hope she might come back and compete again. It's all dependent.
Well, I think she will,
Yeah, you
especially
know,
if she was sick and not in her best condition. So
yeah. And then I followed Donna because I sent her when how the judges they put out the lists of how to how to score it, and
yeah,
I sent it to her, and she looked at it and she said yes. This is bullshit. She felt like she should get higher, but the thing with Donna is Donna's a little bit older, and it's a lot harder for the much older women to maintain a level, especially if you don't have as compete as long compared to like someone like Irene Anderson. I think also Helen Trevino, and then also the thing is also she has a child. She had a son, and I remember I was talking to a lady who was competing at a show and said why she didn't place that well because one thing is that you have issues in your midsection.
yeah,
Because because you had a child, and depending on how the pregnancy affects your abdominal walls. If you have that kind of like so a lot of ladies who compete who they have that, especially have a lot of kids. I'm doing this month. I'm doing a lot of comparisons about female bodybuilders and muscles. Female bodybuilders who have kids who moms with muscles, and you notice they have that. Sometimes that little bit of a skin, like how the skin looks a little bit like it's not really as flat. Kind of like
yeah,
yeah, it kind of look very
yeah,
wrinkly, and
yeah, yeah. It's something I noticed after looking again at Donna, because I was like wondering, well, why is Donna scoring so low? Because I was watching the feed, and she looked, obviously her arms, her midsection looked a lot, especially arms, torso. I mean, not the arms, the arms and upper body area looked honestly a lot better than even Teresa did.
Yeah.
But then I go back and look at some of the photos, and I see the abdominal section, and I do. I start seeing what you were talking about there with the having a child.
See, you think about Donna and Stephanie both have children. I know Stephanie, she has a daughter. She's a teenager. Donna, she has a son. He's grown, and she's a grandmother because her son has a couple of kids. And as a woman her age and coming has how long she can beat it, and especially come out like I saw her doing an interview, and her shoulders and her delts and her traps were just huge. Her body's amazing, but it's just that I think the one thing that really hurts her is the midsection. It's a lot harder for her to maintain a good level of really more tights and more flattened abdominals, and it can be tough, especially for a woman who's like I said, she's got to be close to her 50s. There's some women who are in their 50s because especially if they maintain they've been competing for quite a long time, like people like Yaxenia Keene and like I said, Irene Anderson and Helen Trevino and a couple of others. They do pretty well. Now, yeah, and the one person that I didn't think was going to do too well, and I'm surprised that she got as far, was Lisa Kodry. Now, last year she took second at the Toronto Super Show, and it was only 4 women at that show. I know Mila Ash won that show. I later have become friendly with Miss Tanner Hugh, took 4th, and then was in the middle was Lisa and Michelle Jen. And and Lisa, she's from Canada, and I'm surprised that I thought she might do the Vancouver show, but from what people told me, she don't live in Canada anymore. So and
she was a bit of a wild card. So I wrote down some interesting things about. There was also the because I watched the prejudging as well. It was commented by Isabel Terrell and the one guy who does the Olympia.
Bob Ciccarello. Yeah, he does a lot of those shows. Yeah, Bob Ciccarello.
Okay, so they were both doing commentary during it, and I noticed a few things they said. Isabel Terrell, obviously a former IFBB pro.
No, she's not former. She's coming back.
She's coming back. Okay.
Well, yes. She mentioned when she was at the show. She mentioned before because she has a show called. She does a show on Wings of Strength YouTube page.
Yeah.
And she mentioned she's coming back. She's thinking about doing maybe the Omaha or Chicago, from what I'm hearing. And it's been a long time. This year.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
All right. I didn't even. Okay, so yeah, she was commenting then about Lisa. She does look pretty amazing right here. Lisa looks pretty good. She had the best back of any of the girls on stage. So I put her down as a wild card because she actually scores pretty high in the contest before she did, but she didn't do that many. And there wasn't that big of who she was competing against. So I didn't really know too much about her compared to pretty much the other competitors for the most part. But she seems to be pretty good, especially in the back area.
Well, Lisa, she's originally from Canada. She was doing physique for a good while, and then she switched over and competed at the Savannah Pro last year. I think she took 4th place at that show because that show, Charlotte Boswell won. I think who took second? I'm trying to remember who took second that show. I forget. I know a lady by the name of Jeannie Welker. I think she took third, and she took fourth. And I forgot who took second at that show. It's been a while. Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
because I know we shot because we meet we shot we still close on social media. We talk a little bit every while. And she follows me on IG, and she took second at that show. That was just her debut, but then she did a little bit of fake at the Toronto, but the fact that Toronto was a smaller lineup. You just had Mila, you had her, you had Michelle Jin, you had Tanner Hugh. But this show was just not just one woman more compared to the excuse me, compared to the Toronto Pro. But she looks pretty impressive. One thing was when they were doing the finals, they said she don't smile. The thing about her, she looks like it hurts her to smile. I remember I saw a picture of her when she check in when they check in and get their numbers, and she was holding up. She had kind of like it's like a crooked grin. She just couldn't smile. But she has a impressive physique. She has good line definitions. What that like with her, Jada, and Donna, they have not been to the wheel of silicone. So but I think the thing is that how judges they look for certain things. They said breast implants feel like it's more feminine, but it's to me it's here and there. It's a toss up. Now, to me this year, Stephanie Fletcher came a little bit underwhelming from last year. She looked pretty impressive last year. She did Chicago. She competed in physique at Omaha. Then she went switch, competed in Chicago, did Tampa. I think that was the three shows she did. She already had got qualification for the Olympia, but for some reason she dropped out. She didn't for whatever personal reasons. I know I've been following social media. She's kind of been on this the last few months been on a crusade because about a certain trainer. Because some women have some passing because this trainer, and I think she's now women's strength ambassador. Her, Donna, Teresa, all women's strength ambassadors. Last year, Teresa was a women's strength ambassador because she switched to physique. She did too well. Then I remember Teresa saying she was going to come back next year, but she changed. But Donna, she's a tall chick. I think she's only maybe an inch shorter than Jada, and she has a impressive physique. But this time she came a little bit size. She has more width in her back than she had definition.
Yeah. Yeah, her proportions are a little bit off. Yeah, I'm just comparing her to Teresa, and yeah, I can see some of the differences. Yeah, she's definitely got to work on the abdominal section, waistline, legs.
Mm-hmm.
She said she wasn't posing. I think it was Isabel Terrell who commented she wasn't posing her normal amazing poses that she did that morning. So eventually she said, yeah, I'm going to just get some sleep beforehand and come back in for the finals better.
Because I know she lives in Indiana.
She actually lives in Indianapolis.
She lives in Indianapolis, yeah. And she was at. I remember I saw her when she was talking at the table with Bob and Isabel. When I was like, because when I said, oh, I missed the finals because I missed the prejudging because they probably had their prejudging around about a little bit. Now I didn't get on to. I was working on something. I didn't get on till about maybe a little after nine, and I think I probably missed the prejudges. There's only 5 of them, so I probably missed the prejudges like maybe 5 or 6 minutes into it. And you already went to the men. But like I said, yeah, she is a bit off this year. One person I compare her to, especially in the upper body and around the legs, is Ivy Rain. Ivy Rain competes in women's physique. She took 7th at the show. Now she earned a qualification. She earned a qualification also at the Toronto Pro for this year's Olympia. And Ivy and her have great lats. They have that small tapering waist. She was a physique competitor, but the thing is that we come up to bodybuilding. Condition is good, but you got to bring more size. You got to bring more size in her legs, her quads, her quads and her calves were not as cut, you look a little smooth. I was talking to some ladies that saying like, they said that she was really off this time. She has a great physique. I'm not gonna lie about it. She has great physique, but she just gotta work on her conditioning, and she needs more size. She still has that, even though her shoulders a little broader, a little wider. She still has like a look of a physique competitor.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's something, the difference between her and Teresa. I found at the show. Um, she, yeah, she's still holding on to some of that physique um, mindset, and then how she's sculpting her body. Yeah. Well, she managed to still do good, even though she was not in her best condition at all compared to the other competitors. Um, so there was that. And then finally we had uh, Miss Teresa herself come in. And I predicted she was going to win before contest. Did you as well?
Well, I saw some pictures that they posted on social media, like Flex Magazine. They had posted some pictures of the finals, and I looked at it. I said, Teresa looks really good. I mean, and here's the thing about why I learned about it. Now, Teresa was originally, as you know, she did physique last year, didn't do well. 6'7" at the Chicago. She won Chicago back in 2020. She beat a dear friend of mine, Mr. Shauna Boswell. Then, her last, this was what's going to be her. This is going to be her second return to Olympia because that was her first time when she did it in 2020. Then she switched over to physique, didn't do well, took 7 at the Chicago. One point, yeah, she was planning on coming back next year, but then she changed her mind. Then the story was that she was going to do the New York Pro. She heard about this show. She cut a prep show for the New York and done this show. And she cut a prep short, but still she looked pretty good. I mean, Teresa used to be a lot bigger. I remember when she competed. When she competed back in I think 2016, 2017. I think it was the USA's or the Nationals. She was heavyweight and the middleweight was Brittany Orville. Brittany was a student under she was a student under Margie V. Martin. And I looked at Brittany. Brittany looked a little bit blocky. She wasn't as defined. And I looked at Teresa. Teresa was just like she had a lot. Her shoulders, her traps, they were just huge. But Brittany won. She earned a pro card that year. And I used to be Facebook friend with Brittany. I told Brittany, you looked a little blocky compared to the other girl. She unfriended me. So I should have said it, but you know what? I'm being honest because the fact is that Brittany just didn't look like she was in the better condition. They probably went with Brittany because she was a little more soft, a little bit feminine. But she has really changed her look. She's had darker hair. She already had breast implants before, and she was trying to really. She's really been squeezing down. She's been in the Wings of Strength at least 3 times during her career. 2019. She did 2020. I think she did 2018 also. If I think about it. And she looked pretty good this year. I mean, there was, and one thing is, the question is she gonna still do the New York? Because she has a qualification. What's the point in doing New York? You just take with qualification with somebody else. That's
I mean, other than meeting me at the New York, but
oh yeah, you meet her, you give her a hug, and you say, "Oh, boom, go to that." I'm like, But yeah, she looked pretty good in the show. She was trained by the guy who passed away last year, John Meadows, Mountain Dog they call him. And she. Well, I was also told that she had a coach before, because she changed coaches for this prep, and she lives in she's in your area. She's in Pennsylvania. She's a little bit away from Pittsburgh.
Yeah, so I was going to comment on that. Yes, she is a Pennsylvanian bodybuilder. She lives in Butler, which is a suburb of Pittsburgh. And in Pennsylvania, we have basically 2 major cities, Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. And then we have what I call a bunch of scattered little, not major cities, but, significant cities, but not of major size. And most of them are in the east, and there's a lot of rocky mountain terrain dividing them. But yeah, she is in the west. I'm in the east, and but yeah, it's always good to have another Pennsylvania bodybuilder out there. Um, the thing I noticed about her is, so you commented about silicone. She does have breast implants, but I like the way she's got them. So she's got them like where she's got like the the certain kind of way she's got them.
Like to give that natural hang.
Yeah, they got the natural hang with
Instead
like
of like the two sit up too high. As you know, there's like two ways you get them. Like especially for female bodybuilders, if you do them, I think it's like you do them over the muscle, they kind of protrude because the muscles pushes the implants, and if you do it under the muscle, they kind of hang and slide. I know, Laura Craval, I think she had hers under the muscle when I used to remember because she had a funny, they say her breasts look kind of a little funny. But that's how I think that's what some women want to do because it gives that maybe that more that natural hang look to it compared to when you have them over the muscles. Because you look at her and Stephanie's, Stephanie, I think she got hers over the muscle, which gives it that stick out. She gives it more like a little more cleavage in her top.
yeah, yeah. I wanted yeah, I thought Teresa's is better. Um, there's just something about Stephanie's that just doesn't work for me.
I feel like it look a lot more fake.
A lot more fake. With that one, there's like, it's like so you got like the little breast pecs, and then you got like uh, the two breasts on the end, like sticking out. I just like it. I find it really uh, uh, Teresa really does have a good sex appeal to her. She's a really good Wings of Strength ambassador, I find. Very good for the sport. I'm glad she came back from women's physique, uh, because I just didn't think she would do good there. Uh, it's just that, I mean, it's easy for somebody from women's physique to go into women's bodybuilding, but it's hard the other way around.
Yeah, because especially you have to really drop a lot of muscle. You have to
Yeah.
drop a lot of muscle to do women's physique, and and it's a lot harder to drop that size. And like I said, Teresa, she has her liquid qualification. We have two women already got their liquid qualification for this year. Um, uh, Eva um, Montgomery and Teresa Vosick. So, like I said, I said congratulations to Miss um, you know Teresa Vosick. You know, and she's pretty impressive. And like I said, she does have appeal. I think I used to like her when her hair was darker. I think great with her eyes. It made him it gave her more sex appeal. I think it gave her a little more dark and smoothie look compared to now she got him like she has blonder hair.
Yeah. Um, yeah, yeah, there's something about, yeah. Um, I don't know. Maybe it's because, hey, how's it going?
KL, yeah.
Hal.
Hey, KL, thank you for coming through, brother. Appreciate for your support.
Um, yeah, I think the hair can be either or. But there was one thing I noticed from Isabel Terrell that she mentioned. She said that both Teresa and Donna both came in with a pretty dark tan, darker than usual. Especially for Donna, uh, she had a really like burnt kind of like very very dark kind of tan to her. But that was just something I just noticed as well. I don't know if that had anything to do with like point-wise or anything like that. With that, but the one thing I can tell you is with the show, so the prejudging, for some reason, they don't have a replay for that. But the finals, you can still look it up on the Indy Pro pay-per-view stream, and you can still watch it there. I don't know where the footage of the prejudging is at, but I did watch it beforehand.
Yeah, I think it's like the very first thing to start, because it was only 5 women. The divisions was, I think it was mostly the men was 212 in men's bodybuilding, and also they had the Midwest NPC show, where you had, I think, women's physique, men's bodybuilding, and women's I think figure wellness, and I think that's about it. It was I saw some of it. I didn't really watch all the show, because like I say, my big focus was on the women, and I did see some competition, see some guys, but I didn't really focus too much on it. Because I wasn't sure. I didn't realize this. I realized later that I probably missed the prejudging. I was trying to see when the prejudging starts. So they probably did the ladies the first thing up top. So there's only 5 competitors.
Yeah. So there's that. Overall, I think the Indy Pro was a pretty good show, especially for it's not like the biggest show on earth, so I thought it was pretty good, especially for people who just want to go to a show that isn't cramped. Like, for example, the Tampa Pro is notoriously packed show. I think it's the oldest outside of the Miss Olympia that's been still running consistently, so it's definitely got that prestige to it.
I think
this show,
go ahead.
No, you go.
No, go ahead. You go ahead, finish.
But it's so it's better to sometimes maybe go to these shows with less competitors. I mean, like, my goodness, the person at Vancouver, she was from Washington. All she had to do was take a boat ride over and show up, and she won this Olympic qualification.
Yeah, well, one thing is that since it was in Vancouver, British Columbia, is still in Canada, she had to make sure she was vaccinated. That and her also a friend of hers who competed also in women's and figure, Miss Layla Ika Hihiko. Fo. The name is trying to get off my tongue. I just did a video about her, and I did a video about her and my dear friend Miss Brittany Brooks for my comparisons for this day, and that's the one thing you have to, when you go in Canada, you have to make sure you're vaccinated, because they won't let you in if you're not. There was guidelines where you have to be quarantined for 2 weeks, in and out. So we go in, before you go in, you have to be 2 weeks. Before you go out, it has to be 2 weeks. And then there was one point, unless it was like some kind of medical emergency like that, you couldn't get in Canada. But they had dropped the guidelines. But still, you have to be tested. You have to make sure you have to do your PCR test, and also you have your proof that you've been vaccinated. And she did what she needed to do. A lot of competitors, like I say, was hearing they didn't want to get vaccinated because concerns of vaccination. Some people saying like, oh, people are dying for vaccination, but no, people are not dying for vaccination. They're dying from the disease. They're dying because they're not vaccinated. Like I just saw a guy who I follow, Jesse Delamore. He's on YouTube. He's a guy, great guy, does political stuff. He has got the virus. He's been dodging for 2 years, but he was vaccinated. And because of that, what it does is stave off the severest part of the virus, which which could hospitalize you, even eventually kill you. But Eva did what she wanted to do. She did it. She deserved it, even though she was the only person to show a win's a win.
Yeah, showing up is 50% of the 50% of the competition right there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah. So yeah, I think Teresa showing up at the Miss Olympia because she's a bodybuilder that I would put in a qualification of like, what would I classify her as? Top 20-ish female bodybuilders around if I had to put a note on that. At least
Yeah,
currently.
because it'd be good because she got Andrea Shaw. You know, Hella Trevino's not actually got Hella. You know, Iron Anderson, Margie V. Martin. You can't forget, you know, Mona Porcella, and then you know quite a few other ladies who are pretty impressive. You know, she might be close to a top 10, if not top 20.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we don't know if you know who's gonna. Sometimes people come in sick or they can't make it. So you know,
Yeah,
if she cracks like the top three, then that opens up a whole different other world of possibilities for her.
yeah, and see, you still have, you know, they changed the qualification.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about it changing. It's no longer top five; it's top three. That means, you know, we all know Hella's out because of her injury. So that leaves Margie and Andrea. That means that Mona and Irene have to qualify. Now, I follow Mona. She was here in the States. She was actually in Mexico visiting Hella. And I told her, well, why don't you just go ahead, you know, and stay here, go, you know, revisit, go, you know, you go to Texas or go to Arizona because when you're surfing in Arizona, you're trained and try to qualify. She said she couldn't because she had a lot of stuff back at home to take care of. She might try to do a show overseas because there's two shows before these not qualifications for the Olympia, and that is the big man. I think the Portugal show and the Europa Championship. So she might
Spain,
try
I
to,
think.
yeah, in Spain, you know, and she might try to do those shows. And with Mona, I thought she would try to do the Vancouver show because you know she has to earn qualification. But the thing is, where
Toronto.
you know, or she might do Toronto, you know. But yeah, if I was her, I would have done the Vancouver show first because you know Toronto. But I think when I heard like she's still try to get ready, and then you know, and then after that, you know, what they do, they have to really try to let their bodies recover, especially when they take a lot of gear because you know they take the gear to get the size and everything else. And she always come in great condition. You know, when how she looked at Tampa, she was amazing. How she looked at she looked pretty good at the Rising Phoenix, and she looked pretty great in the Olympia. You know, and you know that shows she probably focused on. You know, my Ash has got a qualification. So yeah, I forgot. So it's already four women have got the qualifications. You know, so you go first was Nadia Capasaro, who just I was talking with Nadia a while ago on IG. You know, she's got a qualification where she won the Romanian Muscle Fest. Mila got a qualification when she won the Toronto. Um, Eva got a qualification winning the Vancouver Pro, and you know, Teresa got qualification by winning the Indy show. Now Lisa, she earned points at the Toronto because she took second behind Mila. Then she took third at this show. So you got the points on those yet, or these are still?
We don't have the updated list, but the Wikipedia has the what is going to be the official list of the point standing. Um, so let's see. Yeah, so we got Andrea Shaw, Hella Trevino, Margie Martin, Nadia, Mila, Eva, Teresa. They're all qualified.
Mhm.
And then after that, you got Mona Priscilla, Irene Anderson, Lisa. Okay, so Mona Priscilla is first at 12, Irene Anderson at 11, Lisa Kudry at 8, Michelle Jin at 8. Um,
Wait,
Frank, uh,
how did Michelle Jen get 8? She only did one show, and
I
I know she.
mean 7. I
I know. I know with
I
her, she just now she's I follow on social media. She's planning on doing the New York, but you know,
so different shows have different different shows have different points you can earn. Like some shows have more points than others. It's complicated, so it's like a tier of how many points you can win for the Miss Olympia, with Rising Phoenix being the top show, and then after that, it's like it breaks it down into several tiers. So maybe that's why I don't know. Brancata, I'm not saying the last name. 6.
Bronca, yeah.
Uh,
Tana Huey, my dear friend Tana Huey, she's
6.
got 6. Anastasia Levinova, 5.
5.
Anastasia Kobaleva, 4.
4.
Garcia Speck is 4. Stephanie Fletcher got 4. Tina Flex is 3. Felicia, I'm not saying her last name, she got 3.
3.
Ivana Dunkova has 3. Lisa Kodry got 3. Donna Lee got 2.
Well, actually, Lisa Kudry has 8. So Lisa Kudry has 8. Yeah, that just hasn't been.
Right, be updated, huh? Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's error. Donna Salib has 2. Sonia.
Just say Sonia. Just say Sonia. Don't try to say their names. The rest of the names. And
finally, Jada Beverly at 1.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of disappointing. I mean, Jada, I think she probably got the points from the Indy show, and because she didn't place in, she only took 10th at the Tampa, but that was before qualification. After that, qualification changed after the Olympia, so she probably got the 1 point from the most definitely from the Indy show. I feel bad for her that she didn't, get the points she deserved. But I'm telling you, it was a pretty good show and pretty good lineup. I mean, some of these ladies look, some look pretty impressive. Some just need to work on a few things. I think they might need to, really, make some adjustments. As you know, now that Teresa has got a qualification, I don't think there's no real reason for her to do any shows. Just focus on the Olympia. Skip.
So I just realized. So Lisa Kudry should actually be 11th. She'd be tied with Irene Anderson because of the 3 points she got at the show. So that's good. That's good. Yeah, because that was the 3 points she got at the show. It wasn't added up with.
Yeah, we just got in my man Mike's Big Boxing. He said all the way just 100% fire, brother. King, thank you, my brother Mike Biggs. Thank you for coming through. And supporting me. Mike Biggs talks about boxing. And, he's a good friend of a friend of mine. Also, one Mr. The number one grinder, the underrated darkness. I appreciate him for coming through. And like I said, now, so that so she now with her, I think, because she had to requalify, because when she took, I think she was 4th at the Savannah, so that was still within the qualification. But then when the new season start, she got 6 points at the Toronto show.
Yeah, and the Toronto, I think, has more points than other shows.
Because Toronto's one of the bigger shows. I think the bigger shows like Chicago, Toronto, and Tampa. Usually at second place, you can get probably up to 7 to 8 points sometimes. It's all depending.
Yeah.
So, and then this show, she took 3rd. So the possibility she may have got 4 points.
Yeah. So basically, the qualified, it would be the top 3. So it's Mona Priscilla is first. She's definitely at Miss Olympia. Irene Anderson and Lisa Kudray are both tied at 11, and then Michelle Jen at 7.
Mm-hmm. And Michelle's going to compete in New York, so all she needs to do is maybe place in the top 3, and if it's maybe she can get 4 points, or she can tie with Irene and Lisa. Now, the good question is, I think Lisa, I don't know if Lisa, till we get the official count, Lisa might try to do the New York show.
That would be interesting.
Yeah. And since that all she needs is just enough to qualify to get past Mona, she got it. And Mona has no choice but to compete at a show. She probably gonna do, as Toronto's coming in June. She has to do Toronto because that's in our backyard. That'd be the show to do. Or she's gonna try to wait and maybe do the Tampa where she earned her qualification. Or she can do, there's a Puerto Rico show that's coming up. Also, you have the Chicago, you had the Atlanta show, Savannah, and also the show over in Brazil. I don't know if they're gonna have any. I think with Brazil don't have restrictions like America. You don't have to worry about being vaccinated. You can go in Brazil there with no problem. That's a long ride. It's a good flight. My advice to any lady who's competing: if you go into another country, take yourself a couple of days before the show, because especially if it's a long flight, you have to stop somewhere and this and that. Take yourself 2 or 3 days. Actually, I'm gonna say 2 or 3 days before the show, so you get yourself adjusted from the jet lag, so you can find a place you can work out at. Get yourself ready, and then you wouldn't because I had a lady who had become friendly with Miss Mandy Polk. She was working with her MMA fighter who just fought recently, Amanda Hebus, with her with a wrestler. Because Mandy, she teaches wrestling, and she said the one thing about Brazil is hot. Depending where the continent's gonna be at, if it's high climate, the elevation can really get to you, and it can be serious. So if you think about competing that show in Brazil, so some ladies say I know some ladies say they would love to compete more outside of the States, but it's the cost of traveling sometimes. But that'd be good for you because the fact is, it's tough when you compete here because you have there's more competitors here. But you go to shows like the Muscle Fest, the World Championships, the big man shows. It's now a big lineup. You remember saying that Mount Ash said more competitors should try to compete out of the country.
Yep, definitely.
And last year Puerto Rico almost only had but 3 competitors, but people like Margiris Zomalova, Heather Grace, my dear friend Miss Stacey Nunez, they stepped up, so it was 6. So Puerto Rico is pretty popular. I know some women that earned won that show. I think Jessica Martin, she made a debut in Female Bodybuilders in that show. One of my favorite bodybuilders, Miss Kim Buck, she won that show. So if they do Puerto Rico, Puerto Rico is just you just fly Puerto Rico there and you fly back. That's kind of easy. But
yep. So since we've pretty much gotten the Indy Pro down to the ladder, I think we should talk about who we will speculate for who will be at the New York Pro because the list is not out yet. And I'll talk about maybe my plans for that day because I do have off on Saturday. I have taken a personal time off for that particular day. So my schedule that whole day is completely open.
That's good.
So do we have an idea of who will be competing there, first and foremost?
Well, I know because I was on social media. I know Michelle Jen said she's planning on doing that show because you said she already has 7 points.
Yeah.
So all she needs is at least if she can crack the top 3, she needs enough where she can probably tie or even go over Mona.
Yeah.
And and just even she has 9 points, even if everybody else qualifies, she has 9 to 10 points, and that's it. She can still compete at the Olympia if nobody else has any more points. I believe Lisa Codry might do it because she, some of these ladies will do the shows the week after the next show because they want it still. As long as they're still in good condition, all you do is take the time to train a little bit, and then she can probably do that show. Stephanie Fletcher.
Yeah, definitely. Stephanie. Yeah. I'm just speculating. Stephanie Fletcher would probably. Donna Sola.
Donna says she's doing it because I follow her on IG. Yeah, she's doing it, and
Perfect,
she and
perfect.
she yeah she's doing it. She got 1 point, so she
Sh-
needs maybe enough,
it-
so maybe get her into the more higher
sh-
to the list.
she's married to a bodybuilder, right?
No, her husband's a professional wrestler.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
She used to be his valet. She used to wrestle. She go by Mrs. Majestic, but then because she understood that being a professional wrestling bodybuilder just didn't max, so she stopped doing it. But she was his valet for a good while.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. And let's see, we can guess. Some ladies I talked to, some ladies say they're gonna do the later shows like around about later in June and maybe around about July. Um, mm, I'm thinking,
Teresa is hit or miss.
yeah, because she,
I didn't really get a good answer from the Indy Pro interview, so who knows?
yeah, well, like to me, it would be no point to do it. But
Yeah.
some women, there's one competitor who does physique, Natalia Abraham Correjo. She already done 3 shows after Olympia. She did the Legion Fest show, she did the Mid-Atlantic show, and she just did the Pittsburgh Pro. And she already got a qualification because she's second behind Sarah Vilgas, but she took away somebody else's qualification. I know she competed at the Legion Sports Fest. Ivy Wayne took second in that show. Ivy was, she was seventh this year because she took fifth last year. I mean, she was seventh last year. She took fifth in 2020, and then she had to qualify. So then, because she took second that show, she did the Toronto. She won that show. She got a qualification. And I think if Teresa does a show, she wins it. She takes qualification from somebody else. So it's gonna what it's gonna do is gonna put out extra body. And
Yeah.
what Natalia did, she took out 3 bodies. So that
Yeah.
means that even though women physique have a lot more shows, you know, that means she took out 3 less competitors.
Yeah. And that may have been the plan all along. I don't know. Um, but uh, one person I see in the promo image of the New York Pro is Lena Dehe. Do you think she's going to compete? Or
No, I know I'm on I talked to Leah Denny on IG. She says she's not doing this show. She's gonna be there because she's a Wheat ambassador this year. She
yeah,
don't
yeah,
want the booth. She knows she won the show last year on her first time to compete at the Olympia, but she says she's not gonna do the show. I asked her, say you gonna try to defend your title? She said nah, she's not gonna be able to do it. She's gonna work the booth. She might do maybe Chicago, maybe Atlanta or Puerto Rico.
yep,
I would say I wouldn't tell her don't do the Tampa because that's a bigger show with bigger points. I would avoid that. You know, I would say yeah, do either Atlanta or Puerto Rico. Chicago is also going to be tough because I think Sheena Orlick, who I follow, I think Sheena might do the Chicago. I think Rashana might do Chicago because she lives in Chicago. Or if she don't win in Chicago, she can always do the Atlanta because she has done pretty good at the Savannah shows and the Georgia shows. Like Savannah, she did pretty good at Savannah because she got she's using the top 5 at Savannah, and she won it. She won the Savannah last year.
yeah, yeah. So, well, okay. So we got down at least a healthy number of competitors we think will be there, plus ambassadors and people just attending wise. My plans for the New York Pro, because I have um, VIP tickets. They cost a lot more than uh, than the pay per view by far, to say the very least. Uh, I am going to be there very early, way before traffic. Um, I'll probably be leaving my house maybe at 4 a.m. I don't know. I'm debating. Like, I just got to get there. I got to get there early, and I'm going to pretty much be there all day, basically. I'll basically be living at the guess it's a hotel they're doing it at. So I'll see if I can meet some female bodybuilders and we can have discussions, maybe off camera discussions and other such things, and we could see, um, what's going on, who's there, um, uh, and just be a fan. I want to. I want to be as. I want to experience being a fan in the crowd for the first time. So hopefully I'll be able to do a lot of screaming and shouting, basically.
Well, like I said, I hope you have a good time because I'm planning on going to show. I think, like I said, I'm planning on is the it's the Savannah show, and that's in September. I might leave here that Friday. Stay at the show's on Saturday, and probably come back that Sunday. Because it's if I could, I'm trying. I'm looking in Savannah. I was looking at some hotels. I want to get a hotel a month before the show, so I can probably get a reservation, so I don't have to worry about. 'Cause I know one lady suggested me try to do a B and B, Airbnb. I said I don't know about those things. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I mean, I think to say it's a lot cheaper than a motel, but I don't know. I think I'd rather, whenever I've left and went on a vacation with my parents like that, we have done motels. Airbnb things. I don't know. I mean, I watched that thing in time when the black people went to Airbnb and the police stopped them, and I said, nah, I think I'd rather probably just do a
yeah,
motel.
probably smarter move on that one. So that should be interesting. The competition wise, um, and I'll be able to get a really close up of these girls because I'm going to be again VIP. Plus, hopefully, I'll be able to see them as they're stepping out of the hotel rooms and other such things. Uh, and I can confirm they're a lot bigger in person than they appear on video, to say the least.
Mhm. So one thing.
And
Mhm.
yeah,
I think one thing like some of these ladies are not that tall.
yeah,
I think the shortest one is Michaela. That's somebody I just thought about. Michaela Acock.
yeah. She's a tiny one, to
Yeah,
say the least.
she's
They're tiny, but they're very, very, very large,
she
especially when you see them up front.
yeah, she reminds me of one of my favorite bodies back then. That's Dr. Dina Westerfield. Dina had a small, taper waist, great physique. She's amazing look. She kind of reminds me a lot of Dina Westerfield. I remember a while back I did a video about Miss Dina Westerfield. She said her subscription picked up on YouTube. I was hoping to try to get her to come on and do an interview, but we were talking a bit through through not IG but through email. But I hadn't responsible. But I may try to reach out her IG when I get a shot. But yeah, that's a possibility that she might be somebody who might do New York. Last year she won the Omaha show, but then she didn't place too well at the Olympia, and I think she made top five at the Rising Phoenix.
That's pretty good. But yeah, she's definitely in the top five, top six kind of territory. She's definitely a rising star. Um, she's younger than me, honestly. I just turned 30, so she's like what, 27 or something?
I think she's like 2029. I know a
Yeah,
while
something
back.
like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Okay, well that's pretty
Yeah.
young. Uh, so yeah. Other than that, um, I can't really think of anything more to add to the New York Pro. Other than I will be there. I'll give you some updates if I have any ideas and what to do, and if you have any ideas for me to do there. And
Well, just take some pictures and just send them to me. I'll post them on
if
my if they because and
if
just
they let me, I mean, I can take pictures probably not when the competition starts, so beforehand. But I read somewhere at the Indy Pro they had a rule that if you start taking your phone out and doing things, they will ask you to leave, and I am
Yeah,
not having that happen to me.
yeah, I saw that when Dave Brower, he said that at the show, and it's kind of like that's to me that's bullshit. So we got to think about it. A lot of people, it's like we like even they do it at concerts now. You get bring people what most like I know like a lot of phones can record like that, but sometimes you have people who are trainers, family friends, family, who want to take pictures, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
and I know the magazines are there because the magazines did there because the fact is that the magazines they're the ones who give the attention to the shows. But people like to take pictures, especially if they see their favorite person on stage, you know. And I know it's about because the fact is they want the show be broadcasted. But you know what? Somebody's going to sit there all day and just broadcast the show because those things, these shows are long. You have the evening shows, you have the prejudging. I think I was looking at how the tickets are different. You have tickets for the prejudging show. You have tickets for the evening show, and that's two different tickets. Now, with your tickets, do you pay for everything, or is it like separate shows?
it's for everything.
So, and how much is the for if you want to do a VIP?
Yeah, it was like over $200 or something. I can't
Mm.
even remember right now, but yeah, it was a lot.
So, if I do a VIP, depending, so that should cover the shows I want to see. If mostly I just want to see women's show. I might want to stick around for maybe women's body, women's physique, maybe figure. The guys I don't care too much about. You know, so yeah, you have to probably wait.
Yeah,
You have to probably wait through them to get to certain ones, especially how they. But with same thing with the Linda show. Linda's mostly I think you only have one men's division. The Linda show at Savannah. I think it's 212 or it's men's classic. I got to check and see the how they're listed. So I don't have to worry about too much. And I think it's women's physique. And also, I think the Linda's doing also a pro am too.
yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Pro-Am shows were really popular.
Hmm.
Um, all right, George, I think this was a pretty healthy discussion. Anything else to add other than that?
No, nothing I can think of. I mean, it was great. I mean, we talked about this show. It was a good show. The
Yeah,
ladies. The ladies might have there may be a little maybe some tweaks they need to do with this show, but they look pretty great. Like I said, shout out to my dear friend Jada Beverly. She looked amazing. I wish she won that show. But you know how it is. C'est la vie. C'est la vie.
c'est la vie. Yep,
Wherever it be, would be.
I think it's a good way to end on.
Hmm. Well, like I said, we appreciate everybody coming through. My man KLA, don't go against nature. My man Mike Biggs Boxing, appreciate you brothers for coming through and supporting us. Anybody listen to this video, share this, comment, subscribe to me and my partner Jen here. We really support these ladies, and we're glad the season's finally started. We hope to see more female bodybuilders, more bodies. We hope to see maybe some ladies maybe go up for women's physique to women's bodybuilding because there's some women I've seen that look like they might need to go ahead and go up. Also, I'm planning on doing a Sunday discussion. Just something I've been thinking about. I just got to put it together. I'm gonna reach out to some people I know and see who want to take part of it. If you want to take part of it, Jim, let me know because this is about talking about how what needs to be changed and things being done in the sport. What just lots of this going on that I really want to bring attention to. But like I said, this is our Muscle Talk episode number 84. 84. I mean 84. And like I
In
said,
there.
yeah. And we'd like to appreciate y'all for coming through. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Support women in bodybuilding. Be genuine about your support. Don't be looking for stuff like, hey, can I give you nudie pictures or anything? No, be genuine about helping an athlete in their progress in this sport, in their path. So anyway, this is your man Honorary George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk, along here with my man, the hand of the Emperor, Jen.
Yep. See you all at New York Pro.
Good luck, have fun. Don't just be careful. Like, subscribe. Don't like, subscribe. We're out.